Happy Monday! Welcome to the Prop Queen Pod. I am the Prop Queen, Ariel Epstein. I hope you all had a great weekend. It went by pretty quickly. Usually I'm on last call on Saturdays, filling in for Kelly in Vegas over at Wager Talk, but I missed most of you. So welcome to your Monday. It is Home Run Derby Day. We've got the All-Star break. I know that some people will think this is a horrible week. We've still got the best All-Star in sport, like All-Star event in sports, the Home Run Derby tonight. We've got the All-Star game tomorrow. We've got WNBA action. Kelly in Vegas and I actually have a little fun announcement coming up later this week, so I'm excited to talk about that. Sean Michael, I don't ignore you on X. I literally was off social media this weekend. I told you, it was a very busy family weekend. Jays 55 wins before the All-Star break, a new franchise record. Congratulations to you, Mark, and your Toronto Blue Jays. Listen, hopefully you prove us wrong after the All-Star break, but you've still got another half of the season to try to keep this up. So good luck to you. Mid-Major Matt going to join the show in about 8 minutes. We're going to talk All-Star game. Interesting props up for the All-Star game that Matt's going to dive into. We've got some MLB futures to maybe look at for midseason. Also got college football coming up in a month. So Mid-Major Matt is going to jump through some of the teams that he's looking at for some college football futures. I've also got Tom Vecchio, Mr. Home Run Prop himself, King, going to talk about his favorite home run props for tonight for the Derby. A lot of middle of the pack players today, especially some young players. It's probably the youngest home run derby that we've ever seen. So going to break all that down. I've got my Prop Queen edges for later on in the show as well. We'll talk all things home run derby, all the trends you should know, all the facts you should know about each of the players. We've got your Fade the Public lines, some of the most bet on props for tonight's derby, according to BetMGM. We'll talk about that. WNBA action tonight. I've got some props that Props.Cash was talking about. And just so you guys know, it is still available for you to do the Props.Cash giveaway. So if you do want a free subscription for the next month to the Prop Queen newsletter, then you can go and sign up for Props.Cash, where you get $10 off. So it's just $9.99 your first month using promo code PropQueen. And you would get a free premium subscription to the newsletter. So that includes all the morning and afternoon newsletter. Today it went out early this morning, so you could get the edge on the home run derby market. WNBA props are going out in an hour on the newsletter. And also you can get any of the NFL futures that I'll be giving out that have some edges according to Props.Cash. So they have NFL futures, which is pretty cool. So you could look at all the different edges. Like today, I was on VSiN. I filled in today on, oh my goodness, what show did I fill in on today? I filled in today on VSiN, whatever. Anyway, filled in on VSiN and was on from 12 to 3. We were talking about NFL futures and started diving in, Keith Azaria and I, on NFL futures, and I saw Derrick Henry's rushing yards prop. Holy crap. Derrick Henry's rushing yards prop is way too low, which scares me and is fishy, because the last time a prop was way too low, it was Garrett Cole last year, his overall season strikeouts. Fishy. Turns out Garrett Cole barely even made it through spring training last year and only ended up throwing for half a season. I am very nervous now about Derrick Henry's number. It's like 600 yards less than his rushing yards of last year. And I don't mean the prop, but Derrick Henry's rushing yards total of last year was like 600 yards more than what his prop is this year. What I found out was that Derrick Henry does not tend to go over that prop. Here, I'll show you. I'm just going to show you on Props.Cash. This is one of the things that you could see on Props.Cash when you go to their NFL season long totals. Share my screen. Share. So here are your totals. And you could get rushing yards. Let's type in Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's rushing yard prop is 1,375.5. Well, if it loads. 1,375.5. He had 1,921 last year. Year before, 1,167. Year before, 1,538. So like it's been on and off each of the seasons. But yet he has that bet with Adam Sandler, and the book just doesn't care. They said that he wouldn't get to 2,000. Not true. I don't know. It's kind of fishy. I'm actually thinking of taking the under, which scares me. We've got Keaton Mitchell back from his leg injury. You've got Hill. You've got Lamar. It's fishy. So I'm just saying these are the things that if you sign up for props.cash, you will be able to see, because you could see all these different trends for how, look, and like rushing touchdowns, 13.5. Oh boy, I'm not liking this for myself, but we're definitely going to go and dive into some more NFL props later on. Right now, we've got Home Run Derby tonight. I'm super pumped for that. Would you guys say that Home Run Derby is the best all-star event in sports? I would love to know. I wish I could do like a live poll. I probably can, but I'm just too dumb to know how to use this app. In the chat, comment if you think that the Home Run Derby is the best event of sports. What do you think? 3-point contest, dunk contest, 3-point contest, Shawn Michael says. I just love the Home Run Derby. What did you say, Jessica? Oh, happy Monday. You can if you get enough subs. What's that? Woods 4-1 Home Run Derby today. Everyone type in all your Home Run Derby bets into the chat. I would love to know who you guys are on. I'm going to tell you guys at the end of the show who I'm on for the Derby. Joe Rodriguez, 3-point is best now. Home run is next. Shawn Michael says, shame on all of you for being late. Also, I appreciate everybody for subscribing to the YouTube page and liking the videos and the YouTube. It means a lot. Thank you. Home Run Derby over 3-point contest. I agree, Adrenaline Junkie Dave. I agree with Home Run Derby is my favorite. Longest home run under 479.5. Ooh, Joe Dollar, what number do you have on? Like, why? What info do you have on that? Jessica Brand, I would love to hear what your thoughts are too on the Home Run Derby and any info stats that you have, because if Jessica could give us some cool pointers on, like, listen, it's hard because the last time that we saw a Home Run Derby in Atlanta, it wasn't at this park. So with it being a different park, we don't really have Home Run Derby numbers. And I guess we could look at some Truist Park stats on how far home runs really go there. You're leaning Cruz. I'm going to be a homer. I don't think Jess Chisholm's going to have a good day. I can't imagine it. No one hits this outside of Coors for 479.5. Interesting. Wish I could share this stuff, but New Gig says no. Damn. Jessica's got a new gig now, so she can't share any info with us. That's sad. Braves Park ranks 16th in home run StatCast. Cruz, because he's named after Paul O'Neill. That's hilarious. Okay. Anyway, Mid-Major Matt is about to join the show. Keep on typing in who you guys think is going to win the Home Run Derby, because I've got some of the numbers for propaganda that we'll talk about and some of the most bet on props for this. And we will talk about some of the most bet on Home Run Derby winners as well, as I'm still uploading graphics to the show. What do you want answers to? Who stole Jessica from us? Oh, yeah. Someone stole Jessica. She could tell you guys in the chat if she wants to. I'm cheering for Wood. I placed the wager on Buxton to win Cruz longest. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys at the end of the show who I like. Let's bring on my good friend Mid-Major Matt. He's going to talk a little Derby. He'll talk All-Star Game and maybe some MLB futures, college football futures. Mid-Major Matt joining the show as he always does on a Monday. Hope you had a good weekend.
I did. It was a lot of fun. Now we look at this event tonight where everybody thinks they're experts, and no one's really an expert because it's a very arbitrary event for tonight.
Is the Home Run Derby the best all-star event in sports?
No, it is the 3-point contest, because the 3-point contest has the best players in it. And it's the only one of these auxiliary events that has the best players in it.
I am disappointed by the field of the Home Run Derby. Major League Baseball should do better.
Well, see, here's the problem, though. They asked Schwarber to do it. He said no. I'm guessing they would have asked Judge, and I'm guessing he would have said no. Like, it's a taxing event for your body to hit that many times in such a short time period. So, like, I get it. It's not like it's something easy. So we're never going to get the best home run hitters and or the best players, because they're going to want to rest. That's why a lot of people turn down pitching in this event as well.
Yeah, Pete Alonso said that he wanted to enjoy the day off. I understand. I'm going to make a poll, and we'll go through it at the end of the show and see what we get. I'm going to do asking for the pod, which is the better all-star event, 3-point contest or Home Run Derby. I feel like everyone's going to say 3-point contest. I just feel like no matter who is in the Home Run Derby, I enjoy watching it because there's always random, like last year, Hernandez winning it and Bobby Witt being in the final. I never would have thought Bobby Witt would have been in the final.
No, I get it. I mean, there's a randomness, and that's why I always laugh, especially when people are like, well, I know exactly what's going to happen. Like, we can all do the same research. You know, how many home runs are hit to left field, to right field? How many times has this guy hit a homer in this ballpark? Like, we all have the same amount of research, but we don't know about the pitchers. We don't know how the pitchers are going to work. We don't know at the time, and adding more, time to it. There's just a lot of things that make it so hard to wager on. That's why if you do bet on it tonight, like, it's a sprinkle bet sort of situation.
Well, let's talk about how you would look at the home run derby if you were to look at it at all. Is it something that you do bet?
So I do have a couple of like sprinkle bets, nothing huge because there's no angles for tonight that I absolutely love. First off, I do want to disagree with one of the viewers. I think the longest homer over is something to take a look at because Rob Manfred is a guy who would want to juice the numbers. Like, let's be honest, the commissioner is not necessarily the best commissioner. And we're going to see some long home runs tonight that maybe they juice a little bit the numbers. And so, like, I could see it. It's going to be hot. The wind is going to be blowing out. It looks like it's going to be prime conditions tonight for some long home runs. So I would slightly lean to the over 479.5. I'm also a Matt Olson guy, at least for the first round. So I'm looking here, like, Matt Olson's -120 on DraftKings to beat Brent Rooker in the first round. Like, Matt Olson's done this before. The guys at home usually get a little bit of a bump because they're home. I don't necessarily think he's going to win per se, but I do like him at least early on. And part of me thinks James Wood's going to give us a show in the first round and then kind of fizzle out because he's a rookie. And so, like, I almost want to take advantage of him early and then kind of see him play a little bit poorer as we go on in this event.
I had the same idea because he has such a hard hit rate that it makes sense to see that someone like Cruz or James Wood get off to a hot start. Then, because of the inexperience in the derby, they could fizzle out a little bit at the end, which is why Olson's intriguing because he's the only one with any kind of experience in this derby.
Right. And we know how much that helps. And we know a lot of the first timers, especially ones who aren't as much of a home run hitter, embarrass themselves in this thing. I mean, let's be honest, we've seen some horrendous performances. So if you could figure out who's going to be that person who has the horrendous performance, I mean, Caminero could be. Not because he's bad or anything, but because it's his first time. And if he gets sped up and everything, like, I would almost look potentially at his under for the first round, potentially, because I just feel like this is such a weird event and you can't really practice it. His number is 17.5. I'd almost consider playing the under here. It's mostly one of those things where you just set aside like $20 and you just play with $20 and see if you can hit a long shot here or just kind of do amount that, if you lose the whole thing, like, then you're fine with it.
Cal Raleigh is a favorite, +295. O'Neal Cruz, +340. James Wood, 4-1. Then there's such a drop-off at 8-1 with Matt Olson. Brent Rooker at +850. Buxton, 9-1. Caminero, 11-1. And Jazz Chisholm, 13-1. No surprise. There's no way I could see Jazz Chisholm having success, despite the fact his stepfather is pitching to him.
He's going to have the most fun tonight. I guarantee that. He will have the most fun, and baseball will love having him front and center. But yeah, maybe that fun won't match the performance.
All-Star game tomorrow. You did say there was something that caught your eye. What was it?
So usually I like playing. I usually like playing. First three under. Maybe first inning under. It's just one of those things where we get the best pitcher and we get top hitters. I really like Paul Skeens. I really like Tarek Skubal here in that first inning. So I usually like to play a little bit of a sprinkle on the Nerfy for this game tomorrow. And then, it's kind of interesting. I was pointing out to you as we got ready. DraftKings has over-unders on Skubal and Skeens' K-props for tomorrow. And they're both 1.5, which I found rather interesting because both of them are high strikeout pitchers. But if you look at last year, when both of them did pitch, Skeens had 0 and Skubal had 0. And actually, if you look at everybody who had 2 strikeouts in an inning, it was Mason Miller, Kirby Yates, Clase, and Ranger Suarez. All of them came later on when the lesser all-stars were in there. And all of them came with relievers for the most part. Obviously, Ranger Suarez wasn't a reliever, although technically he was in that role. So it's really interesting here, and you're not getting much value on either under, but like I would almost hold my breath and take the under. The lineups are out. So when you see Shohei, Acuna, and Ketel Marte for the National League, and you look at Gleyber Torres, Riley Green, and Aaron Judge, like I see both of them potentially with one strikeout. I think maybe Judge strikes out and maybe Shohei strikes out. But other than that, like, I feel like the unders, it would be the play if I was the play of this market, don't you think?
Well, they're juiced to -150 and -210. So it does make sense if you're looking at the DraftKings board, and it doesn't let you parlay them either, which is a little messed up.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be the way to go too. But it's just like, these guys they want to go out there and showcase their stuff, but they're also just going to throw some fastballs down the middle for the most part. And it's, pretty much try and catch up. So I think both of them finish with one, but I don't think either of them get two, and they certainly aren't pitching 2 innings. So you're only getting 3 outs here.
Anything on the game or any trends in the All-Star game that ever stand out?
So for me, it basically usually is playing the unders. I usually like to wait until the managers tell us, because sometimes the managers will say, well, all right, the first inning's Paul Skeens, the second inning is whoever, and then the third inning is whoever, and then we'll play it by ear. The one guy I want to stay away from is Jacob Mizorowski. I think Jacob Mizorowski is going to be a bit of a mess. In terms of, I just feel like he's going to be nervous. I think he's going to spray fastballs all over the place potentially. Like, I don't want him anywhere near my under wagers. So that's why
Are you mad because your Phillies pitchers didn't get in and he did?
No, not at all. Both of them said no. Well, Sanchez pitched yesterday, so he wouldn't have pitched anyway. And Ranger Suarez said no. So I'm happy about that because Ranger Suarez has thrown way too many innings. So no, I am not bitter. I just feel like he's a guy that can be a little bit wild. And I just think the moment is you are an all-star, and the guys you're going to pitch to, like, I just feel like the moment's going to get him. So I almost want to play some unders on innings until he comes in and maybe take the yes, a run will be scored against him.
It is the midway point of the season in Major League Baseball, Matt. Are there any futures or any markets that you think you'll look at to try to get some midseason action in?
So this is the perfect time to try and find that hitter or that pitcher who's off the path a little bit in terms of the categories and things like that. Like, look, we know that Cal Raleigh's leading. I don't think Cal Raleigh is going to finish with the most. And Aaron Judge is actually minus to finish with the most in pretty much every book. So there's not value there. But like, if you ever think about a market like this, if there's an injury to the leader, somebody second, third, fourth, or fifth could present some value. So pretty much it's trying to find that guy behind the leader who's going to get you some value. I also like, and I'm looking right now on DraftKings, I like the Rays to make the playoffs. I know we did this last week and people weren't thrilled with me, but like I see the Rays here at plus 160 to make the playoffs on DraftKings. I just think the Rays are going to make that one trade that nobody thinks is going to be earth shattering, but it's going to fit their team perfectly. I love their rotation. I love their lineup. I just think they're going to be annoying, and getting a plus price on the Rays. And the National League side, I think if there's a sleeper to make the playoffs, I think it's the Reds. I think, especially if our guy Hunter Green comes back, I know they had to shut down one of his rehab starts, and maybe that pushes him back a little bit. But I just feel like the Reds have just enough hitting, and maybe this year, instead of like last year and other years, they actually buy instead of sell. I think the Reds are close enough that they can make this thing interesting. So to me, this is the time to find the team that's not leading, to find the player who's not leading in a category, and try and find some value that way, because if there's an injury, your player is right in the mix.
I hate to do this where I take you back to what we talked about in the last segment, but I just saw something and it really caught my eye, and it was very interesting. For people that don't know, you can bet, and I wonder if I could share my screen while I have you on here. Let's share screen. This was super intriguing of a market. Come on, work. There we go. FanDuel has velocity of first pitch for both starting pitchers in the All-Star game. Paul Skeens, you can get plus 210, 99 or higher, plus 125, 98 to 98.9. Like, this is all in plus money for both him and Scooble. If you guess the velocity of their first pitch, and you can also guess like Paul Skeens to go 3 up, 3 down in the first, Scooble to go 3 up, 3 down. This is all plus money. Matt, this is like, I feel like this could kind of be measured.
And then there's the one down below that says both of them going 3 up, 3 down in the first inning. Like, I would think that that's not a bad play. I mean, early on, I think these pitchers are better than the hitters. And as we went through, like, I know we have Tigers fans in here, but like Gleyber Torres, Riley Green, and Aaron Judge is your first three. Like, I don't see a run coming out of there other than if Judge hits a homer. And then Otani, Acuna, and Marte, like, maybe there's a run out of there, but only if somebody hits a homer. Like, I like that. Both of them to go first through 1, 2, 3 in the first.
These are interesting too. Over 240.5 home runs tonight. I don't really care about player to hit the longest home run, but I think total home runs that's a lot of math.
This is the best part of these events, and this is why having multiple outs is great, because every book has a little bit different wager that you can find. And remember, the books can't get every single market correct. They're banking on the fact that you're not going to pay attention to something like this, that all you're going to bet on is the home run derby as a whole and maybe a first round matchup. Like, you're not going to take the time like you're doing right now and clicking through every single market. So if you're willing to take the time, and if you figure out how you think this home run derby or the All-Star game is going to go, like, you can make a lot of money on these things. You just have to have the patience, and you have to obviously be right. The way you project this home run derby has to be the way it goes tonight.
The American League is minus 122 to win the home run derby. That means Cal Raleigh, Byron Buxton, Caminero, or Rooker versus Cruz, Wood, Olsen. I kind of like that. Minus 122. I mean, you could get better value across the board anywhere else, but.
Well, you're pretty much betting on Cal Raleigh, I would think. I mean, I feel like
Byron Buxton.
I mean, if he doesn't get hurt tonight, which hopefully he doesn't, because I think the Phillies are
derby. I hope not.
No, I hope not. I hope not either. But I'm just saying, like, Byron Buxton, he's never done this before, right? So, like, it's very hard to bet the new guys. There's always going to be new guys who do well, but like, it's just hard to put money on a new guy. That's why I don't like Cal Raleigh tonight, because I think he's a revelation to this whole thing. And so I prefer the guys who've done it before, and I think you're getting better options in the National League.
Okay, we've got a few minutes left, so people probably a little bit over this now until we get Tom on in a few minutes to talk more home runs. Mid-major Matt gets his name because he talks about mid-majors in college, and we've got college football a month-ish away, 6 weeks away, Matt? It is so close. Where do you begin with trying to find some futures? Like, which market do you like to look at the most? Win totals?
So, I like doing the win totals. Occasionally, I like doing DraftKings occasionally offers like conference wins too. They're over-unders. So it's one of those things where, once again, if you take the patience and kind of go over every team like I do and try to, compare numbers and stuff like that, you could find some value. And that's also where, and I'm sure you've talked about this, the multiple outs thing, because each book has different juices, different numbers, and one win makes a difference to the over or the under. So, like, if you just have one book, you're not doing a service to yourself, especially if you want to play a market like this. Your Derrick Henry rushing yards bet could be completely different, or 50 yards different in another book, and that 50 yards could make a huge difference. So I highly recommend, especially if you're like a college football bettor, going to a bunch of different books so you can compare numbers. So I did my first run through. I have win total numbers for every team in America. I'm now working on my second project, which is working on the FCS versus FBS games, trying to find value with the FCS teams throughout the season. And then I'll go back and do my win total numbers again and compare them to the rest of the college football numbers that are out. I don't even know what's out there yet because I don't want to know. I don't want to be influenced at all by my handicapping. I'll say this. I think I like, and it depends on whether the books have this or not. Last year they did. I like Buffalo, the Buffalo Bulls, to make the conference title game of the MAC. This is a team, and I'm looking now, DraftKings has them at 2-1. I am very high on the Buffalo Bulls this year. A lot of people will bet Toledo. They may be the other team that's in the MAC, but I'm a huge Buffalo fan. I have a high number for them that I think will probably be over the win total for the market, but I think New York will have one good football team this year, and it's probably going to be the Buffalo Bulls.
Everyone who's going to tune in right now is going to think he's talking about the Buffalo Bills. We're talking college football, guys, the Buffalo Bulls. Week 0 must be your thing, no?
I mean, it's not bad. I definitely like it for DFS because it forces the books to put in the FCS teams and put their players in there. And they, since they don't really pay a lot of attention to it, you can find some value with regards to that. There technically isn't a week 0. Technically, there are some games that I think are before, but they're not really calling it week 0 because all this, the snobby college football people are like, well, how can you have a week 0 when you have a week 1? Like, stuff like that. So I do like these early matchups. And I think there's value potentially with the FCS teams against certain FBS teams because, this is their one matchup a year where they get to play up. And some of them who have a lot of veterans and have good quarterbacks and good coaches, like they can cover nice numbers against some of these teams who might be in bad situation spots. So I always look at that because there is some value sometimes on the FCS.
Do you believe what Joe says here, that the SEC loves playing the FCS?
Yes, that is why the SEC will never go to a 9-game conference schedule because it probably gets rid of their bye week, aka the week that they all play their FCS opponents. See, they love before their rivalry game at the end of the season, like Florida State, Clemson and South Carolina, Kentucky and Louisville. They all seemingly play FCS opponents as like these warm-up acts so that way they can get ready for their ACC opponents. So the SEC loves doing it, but the key here is you have to look at a coach's history to see how much they care about those games and how many of them want to actually cover. Our guy Lane Kiffin, like he probably wants to always cover those numbers because the boosters probably tell him, hey, you're a 55-point favorite. Win this game by 56, please. So making sure to look at the coaches' histories are also important because some coaches just don't care. They go out there, they want the win, and they won't cover the huge numbers.
So we've got the college football playoff odds that are up, and you could bet on teams to make the college football playoff. So this year it's 12 teams, second year of the expanded 12-team format. How did last year and nonetheless the impact of NIL impact the way you handicap?
I don't think it really did that much. I mean, last year we got lucky. We had Boise State before the season. Now, granted, that wasn't a huge win because they were the favorite of the group of 5 to make the college football playoff. But I just think it's, to me, I'm not looking at the minuses. Like Ohio State's minus 500, Notre Dame's minus 190. I'm trying to find that 8th or 9th team or the 10th team to get in so I can get some plus money. So Boise State's plus 190. I mean, that's not a terrible, not a terrible bet. I think JMU could be in the mix there. Granted, I can't bet on them here in the state of Virginia because we can't bet on anything involving schools in the state of Virginia. But I just think if you find some value for somebody that's away, like the 4th best SEC team or the 5th best SEC team or the 3rd best Big 12 team, like you can find some value here. You just kind of got to figure out how the schedules lay out and, how good their commissioners are at begging to get those teams in.
Did you bet any games yet?
No, see, I applaud those who bet the game of the year stuff. I think I did it once or twice and it didn't really work out very well because, if you're betting the games of the year, you're betting spots and you're betting hopefully injuries in terms of like, you're hoping that a team is healthier than another team. And I guess the only other way you could look at it is like, let's say you think a team is just straight up better. Like, I think Navy is going to be a lot better than Army this year. So if you maybe want to bet Navy minus 3, thinking that you're not going to get a better number come December 13th, problem is you now have to wait the whole season. You have to hope there's no injuries that go against you, and you have to hope that the number isn't better, or else you would have just been better off waiting. So no, I don't really do games of the year for the most part, unless I really see a situational spot that I want to hammer right now.
Matt, you said you're working on some stuff. Where can people find those win totals and the work you're doing?
Follow me on Twitter at MidMajorMatt. Hopefully, maybe we'll do some stuff here with your newsletter. We'll put some stuff in there as well. But look, it's a process. It's a long process. The season's, I think, 5 or 6 weeks away. But I'm not going to speed things up because I want to make sure to get everything right. But just follow me on Twitter at MidMajorMatt, and that's where you can say it. And
we appreciate your shirt matching the show theme. So MidMajorMatt, as always, you're the best. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you again later this week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Now we're going to be joined by the man who has introduced me to home run props, even though I don't fully agree with betting on home runs. He kind of went away from them, but he still loves giving out hitters props. But we're going to rely on him for home run props because no one handicaps this market like Mr. Tom Vecchio. Hi, Tom. Happy Monday.
Thanks for having me. We got the home run derby today. There's certainly a lot to get into when it comes to breaking down which markets you should or should not be attacking. I'm ready to go.
Oh, let's do it. Okay, because everybody comes on, they talk about home run derby. Here's who I have to win. So before we get to anything and any particular props that you like,
Right.
which markets do you tell people to stay the hell away from?
Some of these markets where you are relying on the longest home runs, I don't love. Right, where a part of me is you can bet individual distances of longest home run. Like a part of me wants to just take the under on every single one, and as long as 5 of the 8 come through, you come out net positive. Or like if you only want to bet 4 of them, you just bet the under on 4, and you just hope that 3 out of the 4 come through. So it's kind of a situation where it reminds me of like an NFL game where, like, let's say a star wide receiver's out, and then you have 3 other guys and their lines are like 48, 55, and 59. They don't know who's going to squeeze. You just bet all of them. You just bet the over on all of them, 2 or 3 come through, you at least come out positive. So I don't love that market. The markets of parlaying multiple players to make the semis, I also don't love it. Like at some point, like a part of me is just, there has to be negative correlation at a certain point where like taking multiple players, like they are going to knock each other out at a certain point. I don't think you should be parlaying them to multiple players to make the semifinals.
No. There's enough plus money to go around for this thing. Enjoy a payout if you hit one. It makes no sense to do the parlay.
Right. So the way I would approach this overall is, first off, I would say decrease the unit size. This is an entertainment event. Like this is different than a normal game. And then if you are set on a player, I equate this to the 3-point contest where I like, a player to advance. I have a player to win. I should say I like a player to win. I have a player to advance to the semis. And then if you look at their first round total number of home runs, it's like, listen, if I like them to advance to the semis, they're probably going to have to go over this set mark. So you can go about it multiple ways. Now it is doubling and tripling down in theory, but if you're decreasing your unit size per bet, because this is an all-star event, you won't have a super high liability. Now, you could just take 3 different players all to win, right? What is it? If you just took Wood, Buxton, and Matt Olson, like there are all these super big numbers. If one of them comes through, you still come out net positive.
Yeah, that's what happened to me a few years ago when I bet on Pete Alonso when he won his first home run derby. Threw a little bit on each and ended up becoming positive in the long run. But Tom, when it comes to the stadium itself, the last time that we saw a home run derby in Atlanta, it was not at Truist Park. Right. Obviously, it was at Turner. So what do we have to know about the park when handicapping these batters?
It's a great hitter's park. It's a little bit better for lefties going out to the chop house. So I'm assuming Cal Raleigh's going to bat from the left side. I assume. Hopefully
he said he might switch it.
I know. I hope that he doesn't pull these shenanigans and like throw off his rhythm. He should just stay from the left side. So Raleigh, Cruz, Wood, Olson, and Jazz Chisholm, they technically are in a better spot. It's obviously going to be super hot. It's like 92 degrees there, humidity, a little bit of wind blowing out. So overall, it's going to be great. I wouldn't say it's a massive advantage. It's just like a 1% better thing for lefties overall. And you could say Matt Olson, because it's his home park and he's the only player in the field to have played in a home run derby before, he has the most experience overall.
How much do you care who's pitching to these guys?
None. It could be a college coach, bench coach, dad, brother, cousin, uncle. I don't care.
Well, because Caminero's got the experienced guy who threw to Randy Arozarena already a couple years ago. You've got Cal Raleigh's dad throwing to him, Jazz stepdad throwing to him. Yeah. Brenton Rooker's like high school coach or something. We said has seen him in the cage longer than anyone before.
I mean, I would say a coach is probably better than just like a dad. Or like a bench.
Robbie Cano.
I know. I mean, that's just like one example, like over a decade ago. We talked about that last week, but like a bench coach or, what is it? His high
Someone
school
who
coach.
Played.
Yeah, like they have experience throwing the ball at a rhythm and they know like where they're going to be placing. Now, I assume even if his dad has gone out there.
Cal Raleigh's dad actually was a college coach.
Okay, but I'm saying regardless of that, at least that are not active coach, at least they hope they got out there and got some practice reps in of throwing the ball so they can understand the timing between the two.
Let's play my favorite game, Tom. We're going to go play now some propaganda. Propaganda time. So these are the most bet on props according to BetMGM for tonight's games. Cal Raleigh to advance to the finals, +110. James Wood to advance, +210. AL player winner, -130. I saw that come down to -122 in some spots. Brent Rooker under home runs and Matt Olson to advance to the semis. Who are you fading of the public?
So I like Brent Rooker. That's my answer. So I have him to win. And that's at 10-1. I also have Brent Rooker to advance to the semis at +120. I have not yet taken his over first round at 18.5. But again, it is something I talked about. If he's going to advance to the semis, he has to hit those home runs. Like if he ends up at 17 and he advances to the semis, that means basically everyone's falling under, because that would just be a crazy outcome. So, and this is partially a play based on the number. Like I don't like the O'Neal Cruz number at +320. I don't like the James Wood number at +370. Buxton was 950. He's down to 750. So if you got it at 9 or 9.5, I think that's great. Matt Olson is fine, but it's really just a play against Cruz and Wood. And I'm not going to the chalk with Cal Raleigh. So it's just taking a stance on a longer shot rather than going to a shorter number overall.
This isn't about Brent Rooker in Atlanta. This isn't about anything aside for just a good number.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Like the Matt Olson number, I could talk myself into kind of regardless, even if it wasn't in Atlanta, even if he didn't have experience. I just think it's a good number. Again, Byron Buxton was 950. I wish I grabbed it when it first came out last week. I would be making the same case where like I just don't think the chalk is going to hit all the way through. I don't think it's just going to be Raleigh, Cruz, Wood, because if they do hit, if you do have Cruz, Raleigh, and Wood advancing, like you're just going to clean up. Like if the chalk hits, you're going to go over their first round props. You're going to have them to advance to the semifinals, advance to the finals. You would theoretically just clean up. I just don't think that's going to happen.
When it comes to people balancing their bankroll and betting the home run derby tonight, there are obviously the different markets to bet. For example, I was looking at, I think it was on, it's probably on FanDuel too, but I was looking at it on DraftKings where you could get, let me just make sure I get this market correct. So on DraftKings, you can bet, finalists. So to make the final, I was trying to figure out how do I potentially bet maybe a couple hitters to win it all, and then also balance my bankroll with like Byron Buxton, for example, is +380 to just make the final.
Right. So it really comes down to, because I love the idea of going to a direct outcome or like naming the finalists of, Cal Raleigh versus O'Neal Cruz in the final. That's the chalk at +700. The issue is when it comes down to the format, because obviously they all hit, all 8 of them hit, and then just the top 4 advance, and then it's a bracket to advance to the finals, right? So it's all 8 hit, the top 4 go, and then 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. So you're going to get to a point where if you have too much exposure to too many different bets, A, the player just simply may not make the semis. And then B, if you do just take Cal Raleigh versus O'Neal Cruz, they could end up facing each other in the first round of the bracket, and then that bet is just dead. And then it's like, oh, well, Cal Raleigh advances. You had O'Neal Cruz as an outright. Well, you lose that because he lost in the round. You had Cruz versus Raleigh in the final, so you lose that as well. So, like, this is when I say it's like you can have multiple of these, but I would really bring down the unit size just because we don't know what it is. Now, I don't know if there's going to be live markets or things that you can do in as the event's going on, where you say, okay, once the bracket comes out, now I'm going to take Cal Raleigh and Byron Buxton to meet in the finals because now they're on opposite sides of the bracket. So that does come down to live betting if those markets are there. And I would assume there's going to be some type of in-event specials, in-game specials. Is that what we want to call it?
Yeah, it probably also depends on the state you're in. Who
yes,
knows?
also that's also true. And there's also, like you can't bet on awards in certain places. You can't bet on these that are, not
I'm shocked New York lets us bet the Derby, to be honest. But I guess because it's numbers.
Right, and there's no judges kind of thing. Like you can't bet the dunk contest, I think, in New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope. You could bet 3-point, but you can't bet the dunk. And you could bet the skills challenge, but you can't bet the dunk.
Yeah, that's
nothing's subjective with voting. Can you vote on in New York?
Yeah. So I would say have fun with it. The one thing I was looking at was like some of the StatCast data for these players. So O'Neal Cruz, just to dig into this, he has the highest max exit velocity of any player in the league, not just in the event, any player in the league at 122.9. Woods, James Wood, I should say, is at 117.9. And then if you look at their barrel rate per plate appearance, O'Neal Cruz also leads the league, and Cal Raleigh's right behind him. So if you want to dig into like an O'Neal Cruz,
that's why I feel some of these players like an O'Neal Cruz or a James Wood could do well in a first round, then fade off.
What was the market? There's one with a player to have the hit home run with the highest exit velocity. So O'Neal Cruz is minus 175, and no one else is minus money. James Wood is at plus 330. So like he is the odds-on favorite. So you could be, one of the things I described this morning was like you could be winning bets even though the player doesn't advance. Like O'Neal Cruz could go over his longest home run, which is 471, which is insane. And he could cash that highest exit velocity, but he could still not advance out of the first round. So like that does present an element of fun where you can have little pieces of this. And even though you may not, come through with an outright winner.
All-Star game is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Obviously, Home Run Derby is much more fun, but the All-Star game is tomorrow. How much do you enjoy betting? Maybe not even enjoy, but how much do you actually bet it?
I may have a piece of, I do have a piece of Ellie De La Cruz at 35-1 to win MVP. Stop betting the chalk. Stop betting Ohtani at 5-1. Judge at 7-1. Like,
what goes into that handicap?
It's so I was deciding between him and Kyle Schwarber, and Schwarber's 40-1. It's not going to be a starter. At least I don't think it's going to be a starter. But like, what comes down to winning an MVP, at least in this type of game environment, it's going to be highlight plays. So if I told you Ellie De La Cruz went for a home run and a stolen base, would you be shocked?
No.
Okay, he's 35-1. It's not going to be Scooble. He's going to pitch an inning. It's not going to be Skeens. So in order for a player to win it, they basically have to hit a home run, I think. Or it has to be 2 home runs or do something.
Or it could be like a big hit. Like what was it a few years ago when what was the random player?
Right. I don't know that off the top.
Jessica's going to know. Jessica knows this stuff. The random MVP in the All-Star game that was like the player that came in as the only one.
Right. But if Ellie went 2 stolen base, even if he didn't hit a home run, yes, that's right. But if Ellie did 2 stolen bases, 3 stolen bases, it's not like they're going to be holding him on. They're not going to try and pick him off. 3 stolen bases, 2 runs, and a homer, like that wins you an MVP. Or Kyle Schwarber having 2 home runs at 40-1. So like that's where I'm looking, and it's going to be obviously extremely small units at something that's 40-1, 35-1.
Yeah, Elias Diaz.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
No, it comes down to someone. You're right. Usually it comes down to somebody who has the big hit later on in the game.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of back and forth depending on who comes on and off the mound.
Yeah.
And nothing early is going to happen if you've got Skeens and Scooble pitching.
Right. And even when the backup pitchers come in, I don't think they're in a spot to win. Like some of these, like I don't think.
Is that the only market that you like is looking for some value on MVP, or will you take certain total unders or ANL?
I honestly haven't decided that yet. Like it might just be a feel thing. If there's a boost tomorrow or some type of promo, maybe I'll end up having something. But it's that, like, I don't think Mackenzie Gore is going to come. No disrespect to Mackenzie Gore. He's amazing. But like him, Logan Webb, Rodon, Wu, like none of these guys are going to come in and win MVP. It's going to be a hitter that does something off the bench, stolen bases, home runs.
We're halfway through the Major League Baseball season, Tom. Any futures stand out to you in Major League Baseball?
So I have 2 team-based futures at this point. I have the Mets to beat the Dodgers in the NLCS and the Dodgers to beat the Mets in the NLCS, like both sides of it, direct outcomes. Just because I'm effectively getting better numbers on the Dodgers, especially the Dodgers to beat the Mets at 10-1, which is kind of like the chalk outcome, at least, or was the chalk bet coming into the season based on the offseason, when obviously the Dodgers make a ton of moves, the Mets got Juan Soto. But I'm going to get a piece of something that I think will either be Tigers to beat someone in the ALCS, Tigers to beat the Astros, Tigers to beat someone else, and then look to Tigers-Cubs World Series direct matchup. Not to beat each other, just to
John Michael's going to be very happy with you.
Despite this little downturn that the Tigers had this last week, I don't really care about that. I will take Tigers to beat. You give me 2 stars from Scooble, he'll go up against anyone in the playoffs.
Yeah, especially for those best of 7s. Tom Vecchio, thanks as always for coming on and sticking to your word after we said last week. You were the one person I needed to get on the Home Run Derby day. Good luck tonight.
850 to win the Central. When did you bet that?
How did you bet that? Sean, there's no way. I have plus 360.
850?
Sean, there's no way you have plus 850 to win the Central. I have plus 360 from the
December.
I don't know. Show me the ticket. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to be that person.
No. I
I'm
mean,
gonna
if you have it, you have it. That's
If
crazy.
you have it, congratulations, Sean. I have plus 360, and I don't really feel like anything dramatically
Right.
changed from December to March. Am I wrong?
I don't. I mean, they signed Glaber in the offseason, but that's not like a move.
Glaber's not moving.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's not going to move the market that much. Oh, it's a 30% future. Well, okay.
See,
so
you left that out, Sean. You have to give us the full
buried the
info,
lead,
dude.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, 850 is awesome to have. Regardless, you got a promo, you have rewards, whatever it is. That's awesome. So
Sean literally gave us half info. Thanks, Sean. We appreciate you always. I know 860 is 860, but it didn't make sense until you told us about the boost.
So,
anyway,
that's an awesome bet to have. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. I have plus. Oh, whoops. I don't know why that just happened. I have plus 3. Whoa. Why are you so zoomed in? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I have them to win the Central. That's about it. I wish that I had them to win the conference, but in the conference, Jesus, the league. I was talking football for 3 hours on VSiN today. It was very early to be talking NFL.
This is my NFL. This is the start of my NFL prep week this week when there's no games going on.
It's the start of my prep week, but giving out futures right now, I'm like this is too early for me. I don't even have Warren Sharp's book yet. I need Warren Sharp's book before I solidify any NFL futures. But Tom Vecchio, we will be talking NFL futures at some point in the near future because we are now at the halfway point of the Major League Baseball season. Good luck to the Derby tonight. This is your thing. This is your bread and butter. And then we will be talking hits props before you know it by the end of the week or early next week.
Okay. Go Brent Rooker.
Thanks, Tom.
See ya.
Time for the prop queen edges of the day. I do have another Fade the Public propaganda, so let's just run the stinger again because I like it. James Wood has the most money on him at DraftKings to win the Home Run Derby. 29% of the money is on James Wood. Are you tailing or are you fading? Well, James Wood, here, I'm going to show you guys. So here are the home run totals for everybody participating in the Home Run Derby and their odds. So Cal Raleigh is leading Major League Baseball with 38 homers. Then you've got James Wood at 24 homers. Junior Camanero's got 23, Buxton 21, Rooker 20, Chisholm 17, Olsen 17, and O'Neal Cruz at 16. Again, based on the odds, you could tell that you've got like O'Neal Cruz, who has the least amount of home runs in the Derby, and he's yet your second shortest favorite to win this thing. So going through the list, Cal Raleigh. So he leads Major League Baseball in home runs. He ranks 87th percentile in average exit velocity. No catcher has ever won the Home Run Derby. His father, Todd's going to throw to him, and he shared a video on social media from 20 years ago of 8-year-old Cal Raleigh running around dancing and singing Home Run Derby champ. He could also be just the second player to switch hit during the Derby, like Adley Rutschman did in 2023. And his father, Todd, was a college baseball coach, so he does have some baseball experience. The other thing to know about Cal Raleigh, since 2001, the betting favorite has gone 2-21 in the Home Run Derby. Not good for Cal Raleigh. Not good. James Wood, who, like I said, is has the most money on him. He also, along with O'Neal Cruz, they actually have a little bit of added motivation because both Wood and Cruz are making $800K this season because, remember, they're just young players on their rookie contract. They'll make $1 million if they win the Derby. Whereas to these other players, like the veterans, like a Byron Buxton and a Jazz Chisholm and a Matt Olson, these guys are making millions. But for these two, James Wood and O'Neal Cruz, they could be making more money in this Derby by winning it than they do all baseball season. Keep that in mind. O'Neal Cruz, your second shortest odds to win the Home Run Derby. He leads Major League Baseball this season in average exit velocity, barrel percentage, and average bat speed among qualifiers. O'Neal Cruz is top 3 in hard hit percentage with Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Schwarber. Cruz has also created some record-setting batted balls. He had a 122.9 mile an hour hit against Logan Henderson. That's the hardest hit batted ball in the home run StatCast era since 2015. There have been 10 balls this year of at least 118 miles an hour exit velocity, and Cruz has 6 of them. So out of the 10 balls with 118 mile an hour exit velocity, Cruz has 6 of them. James Wood, third shortest odds at plus 450. He's 22 years old in his first full season in MLB, ranks 97th percentile in hard hit rate, 96th in average exit velocity, 97th in barrel rate. Woods 8 home runs of at least 430 feet this year, tied for third most in MLB. The Nats third base coach is going to throw to him. 12-year Major League infielder Ricky Gutierrez. Matt Olson, your next batter. Oh, yeah, and remember, just James Wood is your most bet on. Matt Olson, the only one with home run derby experience. He's at his home park. He lost in 2021 at Coors to Trey Mancini. Grew up in Atlanta. He's a huge Braves fan, aside for being on the Braves. Set a Braves franchise record with 54 homers in 2023. He was a last-minute addition, so maybe he didn't have as much time to practice. Filled in for Ronald Acuna Jr. Eddie Perez, the Braves coach, will throw to him. Also was a catcher for the Braves in the late 90s, early 2000s. So he's got a little bit of oomph with him. He's throwing to Matt Olson, Eddie Perez. 3 other players have won the Derby in their home park, so Matt Olson could be the 4th. Brent Rooker, who Tom Vecchio really likes today. My friend Dan Lifshatz also really likes Brent Rooker. Plus 850, participated in multiple home run events in college while at Mississippi State, including the 2016 Home Run Derby in Omaha, where he hit 29 home runs. Rooker's on pace for his 3rd straight 30-plus homer season. His childhood hitting coach, Joe Caruso, is going to throw to him. He throws to him in the offseason and said that Caruso's probably seen him in the cage more than anybody. Byron Buxton, plus 950, first home run derby, but he grew up in Georgia. His 21 home runs this year, 4th most in the derby. Twins third base coach Tommy Watkins will throw to him. And it's also something Buxton said he just always wanted to participate, but injuries always stopped him from being in the derby. Jazz Chisholm, 11-1. I saw at some books 13-1 that Chisholm was second. Chisholm's either the second longest shot or the longest shot to win the derby. It's his first one. He has participated, though, in multiple derbies back in the Bahamas, where he's from. They have this Don't Blink home run derby, and he participates in that annually. So he does participate in certain derbies. Chisholm's stepfather is going to throw to him. Last but not least, Junior Caminero, your longest shot on the board at some places. He's 22 years old, named to his first All-Star team, replacing Alex Bregman. His 78 mile per hour average bat speed is second in the majors to Oneil Cruz. He once put on a round of batting practice in front of the crowd at the Toronto Blue Jays game, and they gave him a standing ovation for how many balls he hit up into the upper deck. The Rays Major League Field Coordinator Tomas Francisco, who pitched to Randy Arozarena in the 2023 Home Run Derby, is going to throw to Caminero. So that's all the info that you got to know for today's Home Run Derby. WNBA, yes, Earl, I've got you some WNBA. Thank you, Props.Cash. Props.Cash is a great way to find these props. Remember, I didn't really do much WNBA before this, but Props.Cash helps me to kind of narrow down the field, see certain players that have good and bad chances of hitting, the history they have against these teams, how they do with or without certain players in the starting lineup. Just keep in mind that the first game tonight that's between the Lynx and the Sky is a 10.5 point spread. They also just played each other on Saturday. What are you yelling at me for? Oh, I don't know why you yelled at me. Okay. Nafisha Collier, under 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So these teams just played Saturday. Collier had 39 points, rebounds, and assists. So don't you find it a little weird that the number's 33.5 just 2 days later? She went under this number in 4 straight matchups prior to Saturday facing the Sky. 10.5 point spreads is where unders thrive and overs die. Plus, Collier is averaging 31.6 points, rebounds, and assists against the Sky dating back to 2023. This number's too high. I would look at the under. Courtney Williams, under 21.5 points and assists. She's gone under this in every road game against the Sky. She's averaging 13 points and assists in those spots. On one day's rest, Courtney Williams has gone under this in 6 straight. The late game tonight is only like a 2-point spread, so maybe you want to look there for more of your props. Monica Koa Makani under 10.5 points. She's averaging 8.6 points per game this season, going under 10.5 points in 13 of 20 games, including 7 of the last 10. The Valkyries allow the fifth least points per game. 61% of guards have gone under their points prop in the last 20 games when facing Golden State. Even with Satu Sable and Kalia Copper out, she's averaging 7 points through 6 games, going under in all but one of those outings. So under 10.5 points. Janelle Salaun, I hope I said that right. Sorry. 9.5 points, take the under. She's averaging 6.3 points a game at home, 10.6 on the road, and she's at home tonight. She's gone under in 2 of 3 home games. 64% of forwards have gone under their points prop against the Mercury. Then there's Tiffany Hayes, over 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Hayes has been great at home, averaging just over 20 points, rebounds, and assists, going over 18.5 in 6 of 8. Since last season, Hayes is shooting better, averaging 4 more points. Since last year, she's averaging 4 more points a game. She's up a rebound, too, on the season averages. So those are my 5 WNBA props for tonight that stood out the most. Thank you to props.cash for helping out with that. So if anyone wants any of those WNBA props, you've got it. I don't have any royal locks or best bet because I'm not going to tell you like a royal lock is my favorite play of the day for the home run derby. It's just stupid. I'll probably tell you that Derrick Henry under his rushing yards on the season is my favorite bet of the day. I don't have enough information to really back that up yet, but I showed you guys earlier in the show that it makes no sense that this number is like 650 yards less than what he had last year on a very run-heavy team like the Ravens. Henry's never gone over this number in back-to-back seasons. I know he was on the Titans, so maybe that's why. The last time that I saw a number that was that's not a word, but I'm going to make it a word, officially low, was Garrett Cole last year. His strikeout prop number made no sense because he went over his strikeout prop number prior to getting hurt. We didn't know. This was pre-spring training. Garrett Cole's strikeout prop number season long last year was lower than any season K-prop total that, sorry, not even K-prop. Garrett Cole went over that number for his season long Ks for like 5 straight seasons. Every season he was on the Yankees, he went over, and not by 1, like over by a lot. Last year when that number came out, I said, this is way too low. I should have taken the under because then he got hurt at spring training. It's like the books knew something. So honestly, I would say that Derrick Henry under his season-long rushing yards is probably my favorite prop of the day. If I had to say, I'm obviously not betting Cal Raleigh. I'm sad about this because I liked James Wood also, but I probably won't bet him. I probably am going to put some action on Byron Buxton and Tom's card here of Brent Rooker. Those are probably my 2 for the home run derby tonight is Byron Buxton and Brent Rooker. I'll probably bet them both to make the finals. I know that Tom's was to make semis, but if he likes him to win. Yeah, so I'll probably go Rooker and Buxton tonight. I love the home run derby, but I'm not very like I hit it once with Alonso. And then I don't know where the head-to-heads are because we probably don't have a bracket yet. But I would love to see some head-to-heads. I like betting the head-to-head. Round 1 head-to-head most, but you could get like the head-to-heads for over-unders, I guess, like Brent Rooker over Jazz Chisholm is minus 150. It's actually pretty good. Byron Buxton minus 135. Ooh, I might take that. Byron Buxton minus 135 over Jazz Chisholm. I do not see a world where Jazz Chisholm does well in this. He's just too goofy. Minus 135 for him to do better than Jazz. Byron Buxton minus 135 to do better than Junior Caminero. Let's see, anything else? The head-to-heads are fun. I like the head-to-heads more. Damn, Cal Raleigh's minus 295 over Jazz. I'm really high on Byron Buxton, so I'm probably going to put most of my money on Byron Buxton. At least you could bet him. Sorry about Hard Rock. That sucks. I'm honestly very shocked that here in New York I could bet these. Very shocked. But again, in New York, they're all about being objective, not subjective. So as long as there's a number to back it up and not an opinion, usually we could bet it in New York. that's what I've got for you guys today here on the Prop Queen Pod. Tomorrow we'll talk some All-Star game, talk a little MLB futures. We'll talk WNBA. Coach is going to come on tomorrow. Coach James Young going to join the show because we've got a couple of WNBA games tomorrow, but a lot of day games on Wednesday. So I wanted to get Coach's thoughts on a lot of the WNBA action for Wednesday as well. So we'll talk 2 days of WNBA with Coach James Young tomorrow. Good luck tonight. Enjoy the home run derby because we know. Oh, wait. Before I go, I'm going to show you guys an update on the poll. An update on the poll. You guys are going to be surprised because this was very different than what you guys all thought. It's actually not that many votes yet, which is a little disappointing. You could go vote on my page if you disagree. Here's an update on the poll on my X page. Right now, it says that everybody enjoys the home run derby more. So, to all you people that talked about the 3-point contest, home run derby for the win. And remember, for everyone tuning in, you could still get a free premium subscription to the Prop Queen newsletter for the next month. $10 off your first month of Props.cash using promo code PropQueen. You get that for $9.99. So you could use Props.cash to find your favorite NFL prop futures. You could use it for WNBA, Major League Baseball, all the props right there on Props.cash. It's $9.99 if you use promo code PropQueen for the first month, and you get a free premium subscription to the PropQueen.com newsletter that goes out every morning and every evening. Good luck to your bets tonight. See you all tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time here on the Prop Queen Pod.